Waipis naksiluk isquist koyachen. Kintlos autim tapna wius kikinamut. Hello, my relatives. I'm glad to be here. I'm from the South and I live in Osuyus now. I'm going to talk a little bit about myself, my language journey story, and it's custom to introduce our family. So my dad in Liu is Neil Bent, is Kui Michelle Bent, is Quisquischelch. That's their names. And I got into language and culture when I turned about 26 years old. So I didn't grow up with it. And I went to a treatment because I was always partying and drinking on the weekends. And that's just what everyone was doing. And I followed along. And when I come back from treatment, I realized I didn't know any songs. I didn't know any language words. I didn't know who I was. My mom's from Quebec, so she's a French-speaking person. My dad is Okanagan and Skyluchui, Siyilich, and I felt ashamed that I didn't know any language and culture, songs, or anything like that to celebrate my accomplishing the treatment center that I went to. They pulled out the drums. I didn't know a song to sing, and as soon as I got back to my community I was living at was in Penticton, I started looking around for people to teach me, and everywhere I could go, I'd learn language, I'd learn songs. I was learning everything I could to be connected to my Okanagan, my Skylook roots. And that's where my journey began. And so learning the sweat house, winter dance, the harvesting. I started hunting, got my first deer when I turned 26. I'd always go with people, but I was never the hunter. I was just the tag along. So I started taking all this active role, and it was because of a loss of identity that I felt. And each thing I learned built up my self-confidence, my self-worth, and grounding here to my place and who I am as a Skailuch, as an Indigenous person. And it's probably the most valuable thing besides my own children that I carry with me today. It's a precious gift. And every word I learn, I carry it with me in my heart. And since I've been learning these things, there has been a big push for other people to do the same thing in schools, adults getting into language and culture, and they're always asking me, how did you come about learning so quick? How did you get into it and this and that? And for me, it was just, I wanted it. I felt it right here in my heart that I wanted it. And so Twimen, I went after it. And I'm still going after it. Every time I see my elder walk by, I go and I talk to him in the language. And almost every time he teaches me a new word, which means there's always more to learn. It's like a never-ending journey. You're always going to learn something. And that's what's so beautiful about Nkailukshin. You look at the dictionary that people used to have. In English, not everybody knows every single word in there. Our language is like that, just full of words. Everything you could see, you can explain in the language. And when the elder speaks, those words come out. And I'm at a level now where I can hear the word and kind of piece it together, the meaning from our root sounds. And that takes years of practicing the language when you can start to understand the root sounds and even get to a point where you can make a word knowing a root sound and start piecing the words together, because our language is what they call polysynthetic, whereas you take root sounds and you morph them together to make meaning, whereas one word in Okanagan could be like 5 words in English. And our language is so beautiful and it's so articulate, and there is so much meaning, with the root sounds. It's not just memorizing a word. Every sound has a meaning. And when you learn those meanings, you get the concept of how Skyluch think, how they articulate things based on sounds. And words become alive like pictures once you realize those sounds. And that's why I find it so valuable. And I hope to share what I know with other people, whoever wants to learn Silukshin, because it's a language that's on the endangered list of being extinct. And to me, that's a big shame. Something so sacred that come directly from our creator, from the land that we live. Everything you see has influenced our language. And for that to go away would be the ultimate sin, sadness, wrongdoing. I don't know what you want to call it, but it would be a tragedy. So for me and you, hopefully you will continue to learn and not get discouraged. And I'll help you. Other people are here to help you too. So thank you for your time. What?
Wai ipis naxiluch isquist schuchelelk kintil inkmeep. Hello, my relatives. My name is Trenton Manosa Gabriel. I'm from the Soyuz Indian Band. I'm 32 years old. My mom, Iskui, is Geraldine Manosa. In Leu, my dad is Clayton Gabriel. My mom's side is from the Big Stone Cree Nation, and my dad's side is from the Soyuz Indian Band, the Okanagan Nation. Very proud Indigenous man. I grew up. I've always been proud of being Indigenous, but I guess you could say in high school, in growing up, I didn't really know what it meant in a sense. Like I was just proud of the idea, but I never practiced the songs. I never practiced the language much aside from the couple years I was offered it in elementary school. Um, but I never really truly knew how powerful it was to be associated and to identify with our language, with their culture. I think I was about 21 years old when I went to the Naukin for the first time. I wasn't really in a good headspace to be learning there in the full, like the I couldn't get what I really wanted to get out of it at the time, I guess. I wasn't ready. But one thing I did learn was my first introduction to songs and drumming, and that the first time I started singing songs, and I got this feeling inside, and it's just like this spiritual, like natural high, and it was so empowering, and I'd never felt anything like that before. So I really loved that. But then of course I went off path again, had to find my own way again, and I think it's been about 4 years now that I'm back in language and culture. I've been helping teach the Okanagan language and culture at Sinpakchin Elementary, and I love the work we do there. We're very fortunate to be able to share these things with the youth because I didn't get all these things when I was growing up. I think the only song we sang really was the Okanagan song. um, we weren't offered all these like amazing opportunities to learn language and culture like we are today. So I'm very fortunate to be part of that movement. I think it's really huge and important. It's a very important job to do, especially because our language is one of the endangered ones. And we only have, our fluent first speakers are dwindling, and people like myself and younger generations and everywhere in between, we're all so important to this revitalization and to keeping this language alive. So I think as long as we all keep dedicated and you know um focused on doing that, then it's something we will attain. um so right now I just started my first year actually back at Anaukin. It's first year of the 4-year bachelor degree program. I'm super excited by that. I'm just going to further my level. One day I hope to, be a fluent speaker and talk to elders. I'm at a level right now where I can kind of understand a lot of it or gists of it, but I can't speak it the way I want to. And speaking it, that's where the power is. That's where our identity is. We have political pull, we have legal pull rights when we use our language. It's a very, very powerful tool. Um, yeah, I really hope that we can get more and more people on the same page and educate more and more people on how important our culture and language is for not only us, but for everyone that lives in the valley, up and down the valley in the territory. So, limlimt, waihi.
Waipis Naxil, Isquis Schwanaitum, Kentelson Pinkton. My name's Jesse Martin. I'm from Penticton. I come from a white settler background. My father, Terry Martin, has driven logging trucks for over 40 years. My mother is a school teacher, Joanne Martin. Grew up in the cusp. And I went to school at UBC. Took the WIC program. That's how I became a teacher. WIC program in Castlegar. And my first job, I asked myself where I wanted to live, and I really wanted to move back home to where a lot of my family was in Penticton area. My first job in Penticton was teaching at Senpak Chin School part-time as a sub, and it was my first experience with band schools. It was my first experience with Okanagan language and culture. So that was in 2011. I got a full-time job at Outma School in January 2012. Taught there for 8 years, and then 3 years ago became the head of a language and culture program at Senpak Chin, going full circle, and that really forced me to learn more about the language and culture. I'd been around the culture, but like being able to work with Kwakwaiakan and Skukulalk has really forced me to be more of a language speaker, and I got to learn a greater appreciation for the Insilkchin language, not just being around the culture. So I feel truly blessed to have that experience and be able to pick up the new language. It's such an important language to be a part of. Coming from a settler background, I found that one of the most important things about teaching and working in language and culture is becoming part of the community. When I worked at Outma School, I didn't really feel accepted until I started showing up to community events. I started making connections with local knowledge keepers and elders and families. And then I started to feel like more included, more accepted. I didn't feel like an outsider. I didn't feel any different. Like I felt like I learned the right way to do it. And so we're here today to help share that concept of like, what is the right way to step into Okanagan language and culture, and how do we get there? And so we're going to take the next 20 minutes to explain some of our philosophies around working with Okanagan language and culture, how we go about doing prayers and ceremonial stuff, how we go about collaborating with others, and how we answer the important questions like, where do I go for this information? How do I use it in a respectful way? How do I make sure that I'm doing this in a good way? And how do I make sure that I'm not using things in a bad way? So a good place to start from, and this is me coming as an outsider, being in the language for about 15 years now, is just having an open heart, not having an ego around it, and being really humble. Not being afraid to ask for help when you need help, not being afraid to not know something, and not ever pretending. If you don't know something, be the first person to admit that you don't know it. If you need help, don't be afraid to ask for help. And if you get a chance to be part of a cultural activity, or you're approaching somebody from the culture to help you, be appreciative. And as long as your heart is set in those ways, you're going to be okay. That's just the place that you need to come from if you're somebody coming from outside the culture. So stay tuned. We're gonna go a bit more in depth in the next 20 minutes, and we really appreciate you guys spending your Pro D with us today. So we're just going to do a little roundtable discussion here. We wanted to talk about some different topics that have to do with approaching language and culture in the classroom and how to incorporate them into your daily practice. So I'm gonna serve as the question asker. I got a few questions on my sheet, and my Asil Slack tier, my two friends, are going to help me answer those questions.
Hey, well, just 1 second. You said that wrong.
Oh, what do you mean?
You don't say the language right. No, I'm in a character.
Oh, sorry. How should I be saying the language?
Well, I just wanted to say that's not how you say it. How would you get somebody's attention to correct them in a polite way? I'd be like, huma,
Yeah.
quick's gonna hit them. I'm gonna help you
Yeah.
with your nqaylukshin.
Yeah.
Because when you say you did something wrong, automatically you get defensive. You feel bad.
Right.
You didn't do anything wrong. You're using your language. You're doing the best you can.
Mhm.
And I want to say, "Chastash, cool, good job." But to make your language a bit, what would you say? Like,
more
Approachable. Oh, my.
Crisp,
Oh, yeah. More. Okay. Got
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Clear.
It would-
Accurate.
accurate. That's the word. And you would say, "Takasa sil is lachlach." Takasa sil is referring to people,
Mm.
and slachlach meaning plural, more than one. Is lachlach, my friends. These two are my two friends.
Takasa sil islachlak.
Okay.
Intakasa sil islachlak.
And
These are my two friends. Lim Lim,
Chastash, cool.
thank you for correcting my language and educating me. I
Yeah,
appreciate
that's
it.
what I'm here for. And you know what?
Folks.
My elders do that to me, and sometimes it hurts my feelings because I think I know it all, and I've been practicing for, whatever, 15 years, 100 years, however long I've been doing language, or anybody. You get your ego hurt, bruised, but
Yeah.
the elders are there just to keep the integrity of the language.
Mhm.
And so if we can put our ego aside and say it's not personal to you or anybody, even though language is very personal. But
Mhm.
when they correct you, it's not meant to be personal. Just they want a high standard for the language. So they want to make sure when you leave from there, they did their best to make sure they bumped up your language. So they feel good about doing their responsibility to keep the language going in a whatever you call it, good way.
Has chout.
Yeah.
Lim Lim Kukukst.
Right.
And for myself, being an outsider, not being part of the language, like I'm part of the language and culture, but being outsider to the language and culture, it was important for me not to take that personally. And because that happens, that's going to happen when you're trying to use Okanagan language and culture in the classroom, is you're going to make mistakes, and somebody might correct you in a way that hits you in the feels. And it's really important to not get triggered at that and to recognize that it's nothing personal. You got to check your ego when you're being part of this language and culture, because it's a larger piece than just your personal feelings or how you feel. It's about bringing back endangered language and culture. That's the responsibility, is like something that's greater. And if you can keep that focus on, like, you're not being corrected on who you are. It shouldn't be something you take defensively. This is somebody who cares enough about the language and culture that is trying to preserve its integrity. And that's something worth listening to and taking note for. So if we have somebody, or if you as a teacher, if you have somebody that corrects you or says that you're not doing it the right way, don't get offended by it. Take it to heart. You be grateful that you've encountered somebody that cares that much about the language and culture, where they're willing to help you do it the right way. That's something to be grateful for, not the little bit of hurt in my gut that I feel. My feelings getting a bit bruised, but just that I get to be part of this and I get to learn a bit more.
It's hard for me to correct too. And it's hard to hear it because you're always worrying about feelings. And nowadays we all have a tender heart these days, right? A long time ago, people pretty thick skinned. But I think it means I love you. It means we're good friends. I think if you're getting corrected, and it means I'm trying to help you.
Yeah.
And so I think if you look at it from that way, actually it's the other way around. If I'm doing something and if I can do something to tweak it just to make it a little bit, better.
Yeah.
And you're letting me, it means you don't care about me.
Yeah. You're not trying to chastise me or make me feel bad. You're trying to share your knowledge.
Exactly.
You're trying to elevate the language and culture.
I love
We're all
lang-
We're all working together.
Exactly.
We're all trying to bring up the language and culture together.
And yeah, as an outsider, if you haven't been brought up with the language, if you're not a first speaker, if you're not, from the land originally, then you should be more open to accepting these suggestions and this advice and this help from someone who is like pretty fluent speaker, right? Just like anything in life, if they're very knowledgeable, if someone's super knowledgeable in an area, and sure, you're a teacher, you're knowledgeable too, but this person's specifically knowledgeable about something. It's only like natural that we should want to really learn as much as we can from them if we
Mhm.
want to honor it in the proper way too, right?
Kiwa.
I think so. Kiwa.
Yeah. So as far as things that are done at Senpakjin or your guys' practice that could be done at other schools to help incorporate a little bit more language and culture, what do you feel like you guys are really good at? Like what's really killing it?
What I like is when you're in outside, you start your day outside. And some schools are too big to do that. But maybe you could go by the window, open window, or something that you're acknowledging nature and sing a song. Greet the day like the birds do when they get up in the morning. First thing we should do is be uh, unifying each other through melodies, and it's a beautiful way. And and a lot of our traditional songs they're pretty easy to pick up, and so it's a good way to ground yourself.
Totally.
And also, like with the prayer, saying words that are uplifting. And there are a few elders who have documented prayers that have composed prayers that we could use. And they're available, they're out there. And they're also, if you want to make your own prayer, work with an elder or a fluent speaker or someone who is into the language to come up with the words you want to say or the thoughts that you want to say in the language, because those words resonate in energy. And when you start your day, it's not like giving lip service to the Bible. Or I don't want to say anything negative about the Bible. It's good, everything's good, but sometimes religion and things like that is the spirit of the words should be felt, the words should be understood. You should know what you're saying when you're praying, and let the words resonate, in the here and now when you're saying it. So hopefully not thinking about anything in the future, the past, but to be present, to sing a song, to ground, and to say some beautiful words that to help uplift and get everybody feeling like up.
Yeah. Well, just to add to that, when we have our chichamala, our students, our kids, when they're saying the prayer and when they're singing, we think of our chichamala as ha ha. They're sacred. They're very sacred beings. So their prayers, their songs, it's even more powerful, right? So it's
Yeah.
just like when you start the day with that, sometimes when everyone joins in on the songs too, the whole school, oh my gosh, the power from that. And I think that's like one of the most beautiful ways that you can start a day. Like, and you have, our half or more of our population is non-indigenous at our school, and they're all singing it. They're all saying these prayers, and it's powerful having everyone do it together.
I think there's this idea of us and them, and I think that's the thing I want to get away from. It's that, there are people who are living on what was once all Silik, Sukuna, Kainich, Temhula, all indigenous land. But now there's all different types of nationalities, but it's still the same land, the same animals. That spiritual energy is still here. And so to sing the songs that originated from this place is paying homage to the original inhabitants and also to the Skyluch who are still living here, who feel pride. And I don't think they for a lot of people they feel offense if a non-native is singing a song. But I think we should move away from that,
I agree.
because if we don't educate and teach them where we're coming from, they'll never know. There'll
Yeah.
always be this other opinion of who we are. But if we tell them straightforward, this is what the song's about, and I want to teach you how to sing it, and you don't mock, but you actually understand and you kind of get it, anyone can be taught.
Yeah.
Then they come from a place of respect.
Well,
And that's where we want to go.
a few years ago, our best singer and drummer was Italian,
Yeah, he
you know,
rocked
and
it.
he was, his heart was right into it. And that's exactly what you're talking about. Is
And
that, yeah,
all this people, I always shook his hand. Good, you sing really beautiful. Even knowing he's Italian, I don't care what he is. He sings
yeah,
wonderful.
and he honors our songs.
Yeah. So that's where we want people to be honored too, because then it's putting our traditions at par with whatever they believe in.
Mm.
Right? If they're too cool to learn our songs, that means they think low of us, right?
Mm.
But if everyone is on par, and then we're equal, and we're doing good, you know. And then if they have traditional songs from different nations, I like to, share, learn different cultures.
Yeah.
It all enhances the human experience.
Yeah. So what's that daily practice look like? So just for teachers or schools that are looking at adding a little bit of Okanagan language and culture to the daily routine, what do you guys practice? What's done at the school there? Go from the beginning of the day.
So at the beginning of the day, we all meet outside once the bell rings. We all make a big circle, the whole school. And we have one grade or one class at a time rotate throughout the week, and just on a constant rotation. They lead the song that day.
The rest of the school is encouraged to sing along,
Mm-hmm.
but there's one class that's specific because they can't be all around the drum at the
Mm-hmm.
same time.
And usually we pinpoint one song for each class that they want to really get to know well and master. And so they have their turn with the song, and as soon as we're done the song, everyone stays in the circle, remove our quatchkins, our hats, and we start our prayer. And that's all tikamach and kailuchtin, all in the language. And everyone, staff, students, everyone learns it. Um, Now everyone understands it. We've been really working on breaking down the prayer and the meaning of it.
A lot of what we do in the classroom is to teach what the words mean, and how to pronunciate it. Pronunciate, is that right? Pronunciate.
You got it. I'm gonna correct you like you corrected me.
It's like, how do you say pronunciate?
Pronouns in there. Yeah. So how long does all of that take? 5 minutes, 10 minutes?
Maximum 10.
Yeah.
So in just 10 minutes, you've gathered the whole school. They've all sang a song in the language. One class has drummed and led the school in song, singing their own class song. And then you've all recited the Okanagan prayer, which is, there's different versions, but we use the one by
Herb Manuel. Tui Herb Manuel. He
Tui
passed
Herb
away,
Manuel.
yeah.
And if anybody wants, they can find this prayer
Mm-hmm.
online. There's maybe like a site or resource for it.
Yeah, this prayer is Pascal Sherman down in Omak. They
Mhm.
use it, and up and down the valley, they use this prayer. It says good words that we can all
Nice.
agree on. This is a nice way to nice words to say in the morning.
And so in 10 minutes, you've done all these things, started the school day off on the right cultural note, and then away they go, starting from
Yeah,
there.
and there's a little bit of opportunity for teachers to, if there's an announcement before
Mhm.
we disperse, there's announcements are made then too.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone knows what's happening.
Nice.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Just to add to that, I've seen it done another way, which I kind of liked. Like, if, just say maybe the school district, whatever school district it is, doesn't have access to someone that can drum and sing right then and there, or they haven't gotten to that point yet, they
Mhm.
haven't built up to that point yet. I know down in the lower mainland, a school district all logs on to a Zoom even, and they have one guy that does it for the district, and he
Mhm.
opens with a prayer and with drums just them a song every morning.
Mm.
So that's
Cool.
just another way someone's done it. Like, we're fortunate enough we can be there. We've really built up a great drumming and singing program at St. Pakchin.
Mm-hmm.
But just for other people who might not have access to those resources and those people, there's
Nice.
another opportunity.
Technology.
You could do a district-wide version where everyone could take part. Every school in the district could all be part through Zoom if they have a
Precisely.
projector or whatnot.
Yeah.
It's a cool way to do it.
Mhm.
Then everyone starts from the nice, mutual shared space, injecting that little bit of culture into the classroom.
Yeah.
I'll go to like a district pro D, and then people find out that I worked at a band school, and there'll be a lot of settler teachers or teachers from non-Indigenous backgrounds that want to know how to approach the language and culture. How do you do it in a respectful way? How do you connect with knowledge keepers? You know, what sort of protocols are important to keep in mind when you use language and culture in the classroom? Any advice or feedback on that thought?
I can only come from the perspective that I had with language and culture, because I'm an Indigenous person
Right.
living on reservation, and so there's family members and people, so I'm kind of connected in a way.
Mhm.
So I have to just think and imagine how would it be if a
Yeah.
non-native were to be. And for me, my thought would be just an honest curiosity would be the first thing. Anything you're interested in, you show a general curiosity,
Mhm.
and to have an open mind that a lot of the things that are pan-Indian, you'll probably soon realize that your local Indigenous people probably won't even fit into a lot of those pan-Indian. When I mean pan-Indian is like everyone hunts the buffalo, or everyone lives in a teepee that looks like this. And
Mhm.
so when you get to know the history, when you have a curiosity, you're going to learn about it, right? You're interested about it. And um the best way is to first have that curiosity. What are the resources out there, books and things that I could read? And we could probably give the people lists of resources and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And there are also organizations that are willing to share information, and just to be open to look around.
Mhm.
And the more local the better, the more local to your area. Because when I live in Penticton and I'm hanging out with Penticton elders, they're telling me everything about what happened here, right in this Penticton area.
Mhm.
And it's very local knowledge. And I think that's the thing about Skailuk, Indigenous people. Even though we traveled a lot, the places they live, that's the knowledge that they're gathering is from the local area. So
Mhm.
reach out to someone from Vernon if you're in Vernon.
Mhm.
Get the people as best as you can to know about that area, because you're going to learn things that I have no idea about, because I,
Mhm.
spent time in Omak and and Penticton. So your local knowledge keepers are usually look for them people. I would say priority.
Right. And with SD23, you guys have some great resources you can connect with. Ben Lewis is there, Kara Ross, the Alexis family. Touch base with them. I know they work within the district there. Reach out to them with that same mindset that Sukwamayam said, is like, be curious. And you're lucky that you guys have some amazing resources and a genuine desire to approach this with from a respectful way. I've heard some amazing things about what's happening in the district. So you guys are off to an amazing path, and we're really happy that we could be a part of it.
Yeah, and people who are into this field are more than happy to share.
Mhm.
It's just that taking that first step to communicate and to
Build
w-
to know that someone's coming from a good space.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. What about protocols? Like if somebody's going to approach, um, just some of the things that are difficult to talk about, where it's like giving a gift or honoraria and whatnot. Like, what's a respectful way of offering that to an elder or a knowledge keeper?
Well, I don't think what do you think? That's not really a wrong way to have a gift.
You have to look really stoic and give them tobacco. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. You got to rotate 3 times and then jump on one foot. No, think about what the elder might use, the
Mm.
need, um, tobacco is a common thing. A lot of times I'll bring tea and honey and things that they're gonna maybe utilize.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Tobacco is a sacred plant.
Mm-hmm.
That's always a good thing. We always use it. You're using that for prayers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think if you really any kind of gift, you think of your heart, you think of what this person might like.
Mm-hmm.
It can't go wrong, really. And it's very is nice. It's a good way to show appreciation as a gift
Mm-hmm.
because you're going to get information from them, and this is something I could give them in return. And if they don't tell you what you want exactly, don't think that, oh, I know I wasted that gift on them or something like that, because gifts are supposed to be given freely. And like my slach said, sometimes you're gonna get what you need to hear, not what you want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll be open to that information as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Awesome. What, just any other thoughts on maybe teachers that are new to the district, new to working in language and culture? What should they be feeling in their hearts? What should they be aware of if you have like no experience with Okanagan language and culture at all? What's a good starting point? So if you imagine like
Yeah.
somebody came up to you and they knew nothing about the culture, they said, "I'm a teacher. I got to work with these kids. I want to include some Indigenous local curriculum
Yeah.
to the area." Where would you point me? Where would you start me?
I think a really good idea would be to join like a very entry level language course.
Hmm.
I know there's tons offered, especially to educators now and stuff. And I know there was a handful of teachers at our school last year or the year before that did the N1 Paul Creek curriculum. And the teachers that did do that, they were amazing to work with. Like,
Hmm.
just on their own, on like they, incorporated language, to use the bathroom. Um, can I get a drink? Even counting down when you're getting the kids for a transition, starting, doing that in the language. Um, yeah, just when I've seen the teachers that did get a little bit of education of the language, they've really went ahead and head first into utilizing it in their classrooms. And then you see the whole classroom environment get picked up, and they're all way more into learning the language. And overall, the ripple effects from the teacher learning it is just they're amazing. It's amazing. Like it can't do anything but be a good thing. Like, yeah.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Do you mind just picking up where you left off there, just to finish that thought?
Just
Is it
yeah.
so if somebody's looking at getting into learning the language and culture, they want to, okay, like I want to spend a couple hours a week to just learn a course. Where do I go?
I know there's language houses, there's language nests. I guess would you
I
contact?
have the whole N1 on YouTube, so you
Mm-hmm.
could look up Levi Bent. It's Kinnichutens in Silkshanok, so the helper to book one.
Mm-hmm.
West Bank First Nations and myself and some of my friends, we worked on a video. That'd be a good first start because it's the beginner level. It's where you can start to see.
And you did
Remember,
all 45 lessons on
yeah,
it in there. And that
interior.
Knix is KNX. I'm probably not going to add the link, but just type into YouTube KNXCUTENS.
No E, just NS.
Pardon me. Knix
Chutens, TNS at the end.
KNX
TNS.
CUTNS.
There it is.
Knix. Type it into YouTube. They're great videos. They're each about 10 minutes long, give or take. There's all 45 of them. You go really in depth about all the vocabulary from each lesson, go over the sentences, even go over like how different areas of your mouth and your throat are activated. It's a great resource. So
Salish School of Spokane, which was the Paul Creek Language Association, now has a lot of resources online. And if you could start your own cohort, your own group to teach it.
mm-hmm.
teach yourself the language. I keep thinking there's probably a group of people in Russia and Germany or Russia. You know, there's people overseas who love native culture.
Yeah,
They're probably speaking our language of all the.
that'd be wild.
Right now in my language course, there's a young woman from Spain living in Spain,
What?
and she's taking our course through Zoom. So she's in Madrid
Yeah.
doing my language course with me.
How
Pretty cool.
have you talked to her? Like how she got connected to Okanagan specifically?
I am not too sure yet. Yeah.
Dang.
When I was
Wow.
No,
teaching
not
Yeah.
yet.
on
That's
Zoom,
pretty
I
cool.
was actually a teacher.
Yeah.
I had a gal down in not Brazil, but like Chile
Yeah.
in South America was one of my students. She was half Okanagan and half from down there. So her dad lived down there and her mom was from up here.
Mm.
And she was living down there and she was taking language courses with me. And I'm like, wow, that's interesting.
Cool that she would feel that pull. To,
Yeah.
like learn that
So
language
far
so
away, trying to connect with their indigenous and Kailukshan. Because
Amazing.
even them down there, they speak Spanish as a colonized language, right? And so
Mhm.
they're in the same boat as us.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They're trying to find their own Kailukshan too.
Kiwa.
Yeah.
Wow, awesome guys. Great start. So what we're going to do next is we're going to share a Padlet that we've created of Insilction online resources. It's got all the resources that we could put together, including those Connextutin videos we were just talking about, and some of our own stuff, as well as everything else we could find online related to Insilction and Okanagan language and culture. You've got the QR code or the link to that Padlet. We'd love for you guys to explore that. And this afternoon, we're going to be putting in some time to create your own Padlet specific to your school district, created from scratch, where you're going to have all the resources you need online, and everybody in the district will have access to it. So thank you for taking part in our discussion. We look forward to doing more stuff this afternoon and helping incorporate more Okanagan language and culture in your school district. Lim lim.
You are.
I guess my dream scenario would be, for an immersion program. And usually when there's immersion program for students, there has to be some kind of connection to the parents going through language as well. Not always, but that's generally a really good helper for that. Um, that would just be amazing to see more, because I think the only one I know of right now is in like the USA. So even if there was just like a committed core group in each school that was doing that immersion classes, I just think that would be amazing and would be very instrumental in creating more fluent speakers. Yeah.
Just thinking right now, my thoughts and dream is that the language and culture be thought of as just as important as English, and that those people who want to pursue language and culture be supported, and especially from an indigenous perspective, indigenous people, that they should be supported because it's a path towards self-determination, and that that is a good place to be, and to hear language in not only in the school but also in the stores, and everyone speaking what like you would hear in Hawaii. We say aloha. We should have that same pride in our language here in this territory, because it's what makes this place unique and distinct. And so for people to embrace the language, and especially in the schools.